नमस्ते।
नमस्ते मैम।
नमस्ते मैम। नमस्ते सर।
मैम प्लीज क्लियर योर वॉइस। क्लियर योर वॉइस।
Is it clear?
Yeah,
Yes,
now
sir,
it
is
is
it-
clear. Yeah,
Is it
that
okay? Yes,
that should be maintained during the session.
yes, sir. Okay, sir.
Okay. Perhaps Rajiv sir, commerce. Yes. Good evening, Rajiv sir, commerce.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, sir.
लाल किशोर भैया सर नमस्ते।
नमस्ते सर। नमस्ते सभी को नमस्ते।
नमस्ते, सर.
नमस्ते सर। नमस्ते
Yes, sir.
नमस्ते। गुड इवनिंग मैम नमस्ते। नाउ इट्स योर चांस। टुमारो योर सेशन विल बी देयर।
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
वाह नाइस। ब्रह्मानंद सर
For
भी जुड़
giving me
गए।
chance, sir. Thank you, sir, for giving me chance, sir. संजीव sir.
अब लग रहा है ये परवाने चढ़ रहा है। यह जो है ये ट्रेनिंग का नशा अब लग रहा है कि परवाने चढ़ रहा है और हर कोई इनकरेज्ड है, क्योंकि मुझे याद है कि लाल किशोर भैया सर सुन रहे हैं मेरी बात को।
हाँ सर सुन रहे हैं।
अब मैं जब बिफोर क्या कहते हैं आपका ये जो होली का वेकेशन था, मैंने प्रीति मैम से कहा कि मैम आप कब सेशन ले रही है, तो बोली कि आप जब कहिए मैं ऑलवेज रेडी हूँ। तो बड़ा आश्चर्य लगा, बोले कि आप सर जब कहिए आई एम ऑलवेज रेडी। तो सुन के तो आश्चर्य लगा, लेकिन तब तक आपने सर आपको भी मैंने ये न्योता दे चुका था, इसी के लिए आज मैंने मैम से रिक्वेस्ट किया कि मैम क्या आज आप ले सकती हैं, कि ऑलरेडी आई एम प्रिपेयर्ड। तो ये सुन के बहुत आश्चर्य लगता है कि ऐसा ही होना भी चाहिए। अब गुडी मैम को देखिए कि वो भी कितनी इनकरेज्ड है। वो कह रहे हैं कि सर थैंक यू फॉर गिविंग मी द अपॉर्चुनिटी। अभी तो मिला भी नहीं है, लेकिन वो मुझे एडवांस में ही थैंक्स दे रही है। तो इससे ये जरूर पता चल रहा है कि अब लोग बढ़ चढ़ के भाग लेना चाह रहे हैं, स्पेशली ऑल द रिस्पेक्टेड कलीग्स, ऑनर्ड कलीग्स, लर्नेड कलीग्स। तो चलिए इसी तरह से सफल बनाएं। और अभी 14 लोग जुड़ चुके हैं और भी। रंजीत सिंह सर नमस्ते, साधना मैम नमस्ते, सुधीर सिंह नमस्ते।
नमस्ते सर। नमस्ते
नमस्ते। रंजना मैम आपकी आवाज नहीं आ रही है।
नमस्ते प्रीति मैम।
नमस्ते मैम। नमस्ते।
प्रॉब्लम है सर, इसीलिए नहीं जा रही होगी।
अच्छा रंजना मैम आपकी आवाज आ रही है। मैं पहले ही बोल देना चाहता हूँ कि आज के आशीर्वचन के लिए आप ही हैं। आज का आशीर्वचन आप ही दें।
मैम आपका आशीर्वाद सबसे ज्यादा जरूरत है।
आप सबों को मेरा हार्दिक नमन।
नमस्ते सर।
रंजना मैम सुन रही है ना मेरी बात?
यस सर सुन रही हूँ।
हाँ तो इसी के लिए आज हम लोग को जरूर ब्लेसिंग चाहिए। और इसी बीच जुड़ गए हैं हमारे गोविंद मोहन सर। नमस्कार सर, कल कहाँ थे आप गायत्री मंत्र के समय में?
जी नमस्ते सर, उसके लिए सर माफी चाहूंगा कि जब आपने लिंक भेजा था तो
कोई बात नहीं कल आप लोगों कल तो मुझे डर लग रहा था कि कहीं आप लोगों से मुझे डांट ना पड़ जाए, क्योंकि भाई जस्ट छोटी समाप्ति भी नहीं हुई है और आप लोगों ने आपने ये कर दिया, ये मुझे सुनने को मिलेगा। लेकिन हमारे सारे भाइयों ने इस बात को नजरअंदाज किया।
सर नॉट ओनली भाइयों बहनों ने भी।
ओह माय मैम दैट इज कॉमन जेंडर।
भाई इज कॉमन।
यस आदमी सुनिए, अब मैं एक बात कहता हूँ कि आदमी क्या है, आदमी एक सामाजिक प्राणी है। तो क्या उसमें मैडम नहीं आती है?
यस सर।
मैडम ये लिटरेचर की बात डिबेट हम करेंगे आपसे इसके लिए। और इसी के साथ बिंदु मैम, अर्चना मैम, और भी जो हमारे कलीग्स हैं जुड़ चुके हैं, तो बहुत अच्छी बात है। मैम, इट्स राइट नाउ इट इज 8:05. कैन वी स्टार्ट?
Yes, sir. With Gayatri Mantra.
No, just a minute. Rajiv sir, commerce. Sir, are you ready for the technical support? Okay, sir. Let us start now. Respected colleagues, as it has been scheduled round about 2 p.m. The resource person here I would like to welcome as a resource person Mrs. Preeti Thakur. Ma'am, you are warmly welcomed on this platform for the session, for today's session, and your session is individual differences.
Yes.
Individual difference, in short, is really व्यक्तिक all of us have different qualities, and according to that qualities we have our own identity. मैम, आज आप इस पे फोकस करने जा रही है। आपको बहुत बहुत शुभकामना। और सेशन के स्टार्ट करते हुए गोविंद मोहन सर, गायत्री मंत्र के साथ इस सेशन को स्टार्ट किया जाए।
जी सर। ओम भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ओम भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ओम भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्।
थैंक यू गोविंद मोहन सर। राजीव सर कॉमर्स, आप अपना माइक ऑफ कर लेंगे, आपका माइक ऑन है। नाउ इट्स जस्ट कॉल ओवर टू प्रीति मैम. Preeti ma'am, now you are ready to start the session.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. So, today's session is about individual difference. We come across this individual difference in our life as a parent, among siblings, as a teacher, among students, as an employee, among our colleagues. So, different aspects of life. Individual difference stands for those differences which in their totality distinguish one individual from another. So we can say that individual difference is the difference among humans that distinguish or separate them from one another and makes one as a single unique individual. Individual difference stands for the variation or deviation among individuals in regard to a single characteristics or number of characteristics. We also see that no two persons are alike. All the individuals differ from each other in many aspects. So children born of the same parents and even the twins are not alike. This difference is seen in the physical forms, like in height, weight, color, etc. Difference in intelligence, achievement, interest, attitude, aptitude, learning habits, motor abilities, skills. Every person has the emotion of love, anger, fear, feelings of pleasures and pain. So we can say we are saying this individual difference in different field of our These individual differences can be divided into two broad categories: inherited and emotional difference. Due to individual differences, the teacher has to be alert in his or her teaching task and cannot depend on the traditional teaching system. Teacher must have to be so innovative, creative. Teacher must acquire some new techniques, modern techniques, creativity to overcome these individual differences or problems that is arising in an individual because of these differences. Now, next we will discuss about the causes of individual difference. Heredity. What does it mean? It means acquisition of characteristics of ancestor by means of the parents. Heredity is considered as the basic cause of individual differences. A person acquires many things from heritage, such as size of the face, color of eyes, color of skin, size of his body shape, size, boldness, many diseases, intelligence, abstract thinking, attitude, etc. Second point is environment. Environment is the sum total of the surrounding in which an individual grow or live. Environment, that is an external force which include natural environment, social or cultural environment, intellectual or moral environment, and emotional environment too. Every environment force has much energy. It can give turn to anybody, any direction. And we have also studied about this, that heredity and environment plays an important role in child's development. And this environment includes both school also, at home also, their surroundings in which a child grows. Age. Another factor is age. Age is another factor which is responsible in bringing individual differences, learning ability and adjustment. Capacity naturally grow with age. When one grows in age, can acquire better control over their emotions, and better social responsibilities. Next is education. It is one major factor which brings individual differences. There is a wide gap in the behavior of an educated and uneducated person. All traits of human beings like social, emotional, intellectual are controlled and modifies through education. Through education. This education brings a change to our attitude, behavior, appreciation, personality, and all these things. So, another factor is caste, race, culture, and nation. It is another factor which is responsible for individual difference because every individual has its own caste, race, culture, nation, which creates difference among individuals. Poverty. Because of poverty, a child became the victim of malnutrition, which hampers their growth and development, resulting in individual differences. So, personality. Personality also plays a vital role. Some individuals are introverts, extroverts, stable-minded, unstable-minded, active learners, slow learners, some are reflective, some are genius, etc. Next point I want to discuss that one factor that is society and another is textbook. It also plays a vital role. In society, there are some laws that are made by society that boys should live like this, girls should live like this. And in textbook, we see many examples or stories like mother is working in the kitchen, father has gone to the market, and girl child is helping in household chores, and boy is playing. So these are also creating individual differences. And what we have studied is steps also, but individual differences also. Because why mother will not go to the market? Why she will only in the kitchen? So these type of things are also creating individual differences. Now we will discuss types of individual difference. So on the basis of person's own traits, individual differences can be classified into two. That is inter-individual differences and intra-individual differences. Inter-individual differences. These differences are found in measurable personality traits of any two or more than two persons. For example, we see these changes, these differences in a class. In a class, every students are different. So, difference in the weight, height, growth, IQ, everything. Intra-individual means the difference. Intra-individual differences is the difference in the personality trait of any individual in his or her personality. For example, a physically healthy and mentally unsound person has high intelligence, being highly intelligent. Someone may be good in his academy but not so good in that sports or vice versa. So, and according to another classification, it may be other differences such as intelligence, educational achievement, creative abilities, special aptitudes, and personality trait, emotional, social adjustments. So, these are the differences which we see in our daily life, and these are the types we discuss. Now, method or out visual differences, or how first we will study about that there are individual differences, how we will the methods to study individual differences. So Rating scales. Rating scales have been devised to measure human behavior, such as attitudes of the person, role conflict, alienation, etc. So, psychological tests. Through these tests, studies can be conducted regarding a person's internal and mental aspects, such as individual tests or group tests, like projective techniques. This is viewed as a modern technique. It is of various types, such as ink block test, thematic appreciation test for pictures, interpretation test, word association test. Next is self-inventory. It is based on 3 points: like, uncertain, dislike, and some other types of study are also such as behavioral sampling, interviewing, like this. So, some more things that we can take to study about these differences. Some provisions can be made in the school for individual differences. First is selection of teaching methods. These methods should be according to their needs. Adjustment curriculum. In order to solve the problem of individual differences, curriculum must be flexible. Adjustment teachers. In most of the countries, special teachers are being appointed in order to face the individual difference, which have been named adjunct teachers. The key function of teacher is between the gifted and slow learners in the class. Individual attention, guidance service, it will also be helpful. It would be better to keep the number of students, extra classes with gifted children will also prove helpful. While teaching is interest, emotional and social qualities of the children must be kept in mind. The home assignment should be given keeping in mind the individual differences of the student. The teacher should go on using the different techniques in the class, such as Dalton's plan, Morrison plan, project method, etc. Individual attention. A need of individual attention is always there to know individual differences. And for the solution of the problems related to the individual differences, individual attention will have to be paid. The teacher should go on collecting information regarding the capacities of children, intellectual level, and abilities by continuous observation. Also, side by side, the teacher should go on exploring the needs, interest, aptitude of the children. On the basis of these information, he or she should finalize his or her teaching program. From this point of view, the teaching method of the teacher should sufficiently be flexible so that the essential changes can be brought about in them. Guidance service. After acquiring the knowledge of individual differences, the organization of guidance service became very easier. Guidance service include educational and vocational guidance. Children always need them. In child-centered education, the significance of guidance service will always exist. So, the teacher should go on using the different techniques. We have said earlier about that Dalton plans, Morrison plans, Wintig plan. So, one by one, I'm discussing about it. Dalton plan was started by Miss Helen Dalton. In this, the school is considered as children's home. In this, the children are kept free from timetable and the children are allowed to work without any interruption or block. The children are not taught in the class and they are given the subjects of their choice. They are all allowed to work according to their pace or speed. Morrison plan was started by Professor H.C. Morrison. In this unit task is emphasized. This plan is based on the personal needs and interests. Wintig plan was started by C.W. Washburn of Winteker School of Illness. According to this, the subject included in the curriculum should be allowed to be learned according to one's own pace. Children examine themselves their own progress. The slow learners, and gifted children make progress with their own pace. In this plan, no child fails because the testing of every child is done according to his or her own progress. Similarly, project method was suggested by Kilpatrick. In this method, every member works according to his or her own interest and ability. Like this projective techniques, this is viewed as modern technique. This technique leads to the depth of personality, and projects should be made according to the need of a child. So, we can also see that this differences and dimension of differences in psychological attributes, cognitive, interest, aptitude, creativity, personality, and values. So, how these are affected by this individual differences we have just discussed about. Now, I would like to show this. I am sharing this image with all of you. So, in this image, as we are seeing that this monkey, crow, elephant, penguin, all have different abilities, and they are given the same task. They are given the same task. So, task is not assigned according to their abilities. So, this image has deep meaning also. So, how this cognitive development is also affected by this difference. Meaning of cognitive learning. In science, cognition refers to mental processes. These processes include attention, remembering, producing, understanding languages, solving problems, making decisions. Cognition is studied in various disciplines such as psychology, philosophy, computer science, etc. For example, in psychology and cognitive science, it usually refers to an information processing view of an individual. The term cognition refers to a faculty for the processing of information, applying knowledge, changing preference. Cognition or cognitive processes can be natural or artificial, conscious, unconscious. These processes are analyzed from different perspectives, within different contexts, in different fields, such as linguistics, psychology, philosophy, anthropology, computer science, etc. Hence, cognition can be defined as term referring to the mental process involved in gaining knowledge and comprehension, including thinking, knowing, remembering, judging, problem solving. In cognitive learning, the individual learns by listening, watching, touching, reading. So, acquisition of an individual will depend on their differences. Differences may be different types that we have earlier discussed about it. And the factors affecting cognitive learning also maturation, the development of concept in the child are indirectly influenced by maturation. It is essentially required that for the development of correct and general concept, the mental maturation must match the age level. That means that age is also a factor that affect it. Learning opportunities. The objective of both the quality of development of concept and the attributes of the concept is to achieve the learning objectives. Problem solving involves the following three stages. The problem is presented, before the students in such a manner that they get motivated. Expected discovery of the solution, evaluation, conclusion. So, effect of environment on cognitive learning. Environment affects cognitive learning very much. Conducive environment is very much required. The parents and teachers should make hard work for the proper development of the children and for providing conducive environment for this development. In the schools, they should be provided with such an environment in which they can do the practice of solving the problems which requires insight and courage. Sense organs. In case of faulty sense organs, there will be differences. The sensation and perceptions can also be defective. For example, if a child is hard of hearing, the developed concepts related to hearing would also be defective. Intellectual abilities. In case of normal development of abilities such as intelligence, reasoning, thinking, imagination, abilities under the intellectual development of the child, he or she would acquire the knowledge of his or her surrounding objects in a normal way. If his such abilities are not normal, then the child would perceive the things incorrectly. Reasoning. Reasoning is a higher order cognitive activity which concludes after shaping the ideas in a relevant and in an ordered form. In this, some results are obtained after analyzing and interpreting the material given on the basis of some laws and principles, or some problems are solved. Hence, it can be said that cognitive understanding and capability development also occurs with the proper development of reasoning capacity in the child. Thinking. Thinking is a cognitive activity which depends both on perceptions and memory. Concepts and theories conduct our thinking. In thinking, the analysis of the objects occurs, and the thinking expands the observation areas. For our deep thinking, it is necessary that the clear concepts and clear ideas in the subjects about which we are thinking should exist in our brain. And we should know the term being used. Thinking is not possible without the complete and correct concept. And every child gets concept from different things or environment in which they grow. So, creativity. Child's creativity is also affected by individual differences. To create means to make something happens or exist. To form, to construct, to produce. Creativity means discovering new relationship between ideas. Creativity is a wonderful ability that helps a person to solve the most complex problems of life and to make life comfortable. Only such a wonderfully lovely ability can be called creativity. Creativity gives a new, fantastic turn to humanity and to a nation. If we throw a glimpse at the development of the civilizations to early civilizations to this modern one, creativity played a vital role in these things. And creativity is affected. And this creativity means the person, how much the person is creative, that will affect his development. The psychologists believe that creativity is humanity's common attribute. It, however, varies in degree. Some are endowed with high creativity and some with low. The creative person are born in all ages, in all nations. People generally think that only writers, poets, painters, musicians, scientists are creative people. But the psychologists believe that creativity can extend to any areas of life and leave its happy imprint there. According to Guilford has described 5 mental ideas of creativity: cognitions, convergent thinking, divergent thinking, memory, evaluation. So, when a problem arises, we react to it using one of the 5 mental ideas. So, characteristics like curiosity. Curiosity is an important characteristic. This characteristic is sufficiently manifest in the creative children. Those children devoid of curiosity do become literate, but they are unable to put to use their learning in their daily life. On the other hand, the creative children are always eager to assimilate all the wonders and mysteries of the world. They see everything minutely. They do not rest content until they have understood completely what they have seen, read, and heard. Such children, by nature, inclined towards research, and they show this tendency right from infancy. Flexibility. The creative children are flexible and not rigid in their thinking. The views they express have a variety, not rigidity. If they are asked to suggest reforms in the school, they can suggest removing some outdated things, introducing certain new things, making changes in certain existing things. So they adapt to the changed circumstances and do their best to change the circumstances according to their principle and ideals. Original thinking, originality abounds in the creative children. The thinking of such children is original. They tackle their problems spontaneously and their own original way. So, complex thinking, concentrated attention, independent judgment, high energy level, desire of superiority. Is this I want to discuss this desire of superiority. The creative children stand apart from others. They want to prove their superiority through accomplishing tasks and direct their efforts to this end. Their desire for superiority is greater than it is in others. So, Such children have a deep spirit of self-respect. Example, Jesus Christ, Mahatma Buddha, Guru Nanak, Swami Dayanand Ji, Aurobindo Ghosh were creative persons. They fought against the evils prevalent in the society all their life. The creative children maintain their separate identity even when they mix up with other children. They do not go against a decorum under any pressure or for selfish interest. Farsightedness. Farsightedness, the creative children are farsighted. Being practiced in creative thinking, they are capable of penetrating into the future and foreseeing the events that might possibly occur in the future. They have a spontaneous ability to forecast the possible results of any event. So, the concept is this: we teachers can draw out the potential of the child within themselves, the potential which is inside the child. We teachers can bring them out and overcome all the problems coming in this teaching profession. Lastly, I would like to say, in the word of Robert John has said that every child has a different learning style and pace. Each child is unique, not only capable of learning, but also capable of succeeding. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. That's very good. And dear friends, for your kind information, I would like to hear just proclaim, or you may say that just I want to clarify that the training session of CBSE training session, our school achieved 90%. We have crossed the graph of CBSE training session that is conducted by COE. So our school has achieved 90%, and after 23rd, surely it will be, as I hope that 100% we will touch it. But due to some lack, and I hope that it will be declared. And nothing to say more about your session, ma'am. Really, it is fantastic, the individual differences that you have categorized on the basis of caste, color, creed, as well as their personalities, each and everything. What you have expressed, that a child should be different. Someone may be good in subject, someone may be good in athletics, like that. So really, it is a common thing, and naturally we can also have such type of example that there are individual differences not only in the child but also in ourselves. So really it was fantastic, ma'am. Now nothing to take more time. Yeah, I would like to invite Rana ma'am.
Yes.
Rana ma'am,
Yes,
if
sir.
you are
Thank you,
there.
sir.
Yes,
Yes, sir. Thank
appreciate
you,
Preeti, ma'am.
sir. यस सर, प्रीति मैम के बारे में क्या कहूँ सर, इतना अच्छा लगा, मैं पूरे समय सुनती ही रही।
थैंक यू मैम।
बहुत अच्छा लगा। इसी तरह ये आगे बढ़ते रहें। ये तो एक छोटा सा भाषण है कि चलो औपचारिक है, उनके बारे में कुछ बोलना है, अच्छा ऐसी बात नहीं है। वो सच में हर पॉइंट पे डिफरेंस और कैसे हमें करना चाहिए, चाहे वो सोशल हो, एजुकेशन हो, हेरिडिटी हो, इन्वायरमेंट हो, हर पॉइंट को उन्होंने डिफाइन किया है। बहुत अच्छा लगा। इसी तरह ये आगे बढ़े, अच्छा
Thank you so
करें,
much.
यही मेरा आशीर्वाद
इसी तरह से ब्लेसिंग्स देते रहिए मैम हम लोग को। आप लोग के मार्गदर्शन में हम लोग आगे बढ़ रहे हैं और सहयोग सबका मिल रहा है।